Let's watch a little video about a Uyghur and an American in a little conversation. You will be extremely amazed. This is your favorite half Chinese. I will give some commentary after. Before we go any further, please like the video and also subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it.
Uyghur.
In terms of legislation, it's not like Muslim population is in the best conditions.
You're free to go to a mosque and you can see a lot of mosques in Xinjiang.
I know, but what about the Uyghur ethnicity?
We're living fine as hell.
What about the cultural aspects of it? As in the language, it's a language that's being lost progressively. What I'm saying is that in terms of education, it's not predominantly in your language of choice. Mandarin is the preferred language, correct?
Not correct. In school, they teach Uyghur language or any other minority language like Mongolian language. In Tibet, they have their own language. And then Mandarin. Of course, we all need to learn Mandarin, our official language.
I know.
We lost in our Uyghur language? Come on. Everybody speaks Uyghur language in Xinjiang. Have you ever been to Xinjiang before? And then on the streets, you can see all the signs like in the stores. They're all written in Uyghur. And even the cash, bro, the cash is literally Uyghur language on it. Like the RMB.
I know.
So how do you define a language is being lost?
The thing is that it's not lost in, it's being lost. If you don't even speak fluent English, we cannot have a conversation, so bye-bye.
Yeah, that is how the Chinese Uyghur that the American seems to care about so much is being cut off in the middle of the conversation. Blaming that this Chinese Uyghur doesn't know enough English, while his English is really good, probably better than mine. I've watched several of his videos on his Xiaohongshu. Everybody also go and follow him. I will link it below. But this is how these typical conversations are going. Let's just start again and analyze the whole process.
Which one?
Uyghur.
In terms of legislation, it's not like Muslim population is in the best conditions.
So he says that the Muslim population is not in the best condition, and then
you're free to go to a mosque and you can see a lot of mosques in Xinjiang.
I know.
And then he starts on Muslims, that they're not in the best condition. And the Uyghur ask him, what do you mean? We can go to the mosque, we can pray, we can do all the things that Muslims do. And then this guy says, I know, but what is the but? What exactly is the but? If you can do everything that the other Muslims can do all over the world, except in France and other parts in Europe where they cannot wear an abaya, I believe, or places that hijabs are forbidden. But you can do it in China. But somehow it doesn't register in the American mind. Like, okay, he even says, I know. So if you know, then what do you exactly mean? Anyway, we continue.
But what about the Uyghur ethnicity?
We're living fine as hell.
What about the cultural aspects of it? As in the language, it's a language that's being lost progressively. What I'm saying is that in terms of education, it's not predominantly in your language of choice. Mandarin is the preferred language, correct?
So then he starts on what language, or first the ethnicity, right? But your ethnicity isn't doing well. Then the Chinese Uyghur says, yes, we are doing very well. What do you mean we're not doing well? And then they start on the language. But you cannot speak your preferred language in school. It's just too much. Listen, China is a country where they speak mostly Mandarin. The Netherlands is a country where they speak mostly Dutch. There is a reason why you will be speaking Dutch in school in the Netherlands. However, the Chinese Uyghurs in China also are getting a language in Uyghur language. There's no single Western nation, not a single one, that is accusing China of this whole cultural genocide, because before it was genocide, then they were proven totally wrong. Now they make it cultural genocide because their language is being erased, right? Because they are not allowed to speak it in school, which they are allowed. In fact, they are getting lessons in it. But nowhere in those countries that are accusing China of these things, they are actually doing what China is doing for their ethnic groups. I think that is something to think about, because the Chinese people living here in the Netherlands will not be taught in Chinese in school. And the Chinese people in the United States, who actually is funding all this propaganda, are also forced to speak English in school. Let's bring it a little bit further. The native people, the original, the real American people in the United States, are forced to speak English instead of their own native language in their own country, which is theirs, by the way, being occupied by white Europeans. The white Europeans do not allow and do not teach Native Americans their own language. Yet, a country that is actually educating their ethnic groups in their own language is being accused of cultural genocide, because the assumption that they have to speak Chinese or Mandarin Chinese in school is just beyond me.
Not correct. In school, they teach Uyghur language or any other minority language like Mongolian language. In Tibet, they have their own language. And then Mandarin. Of course, we all need to learn Mandarin, our official language.
I know.
We lost in our Uyghur.
And again, I know. If you know, then what are you talking about? So everybody heard it, even the Mongolians and the Tibetans. Everybody actually made a couple of videos about that. Not about the Mongolians, but about the Tibetans and the Uyghurs, that they have it in school. Little children are learning it in school. And this guy says, I know. But the language, if the language is a problem, how is it not in your own country? Why is it that when I am in a white European nation or a white occupied nation by Europeans, occupied by white Europeans, it seems not to be a problem? Do you know that on China's banknote, like the 100 RMB, you can go to the right corner of it and it will have 5 different languages of 5 different ethnic groups. Name me one country in the world other than China that is doing exactly that. If you look at other notes, banknotes from China, you will also see different ethnic groups on it portrayed. Which other country other than China is doing that? Yet China is the one committing cultural genocide on its ethnic groups. I mean, honestly, there comes a time that you need to start to wake up. Wakey. Let's continue.
We lost language. Come on. Everybody speaks Uyghur language in Xinjiang. Have you ever been to Xinjiang before? And then on the streets, you can see all the signs like in the stores. They are written in Uyghur. And even the cash, bro, the cash is literally Uyghur language on it. Like the RMB.
I know.
So how do you define a language?
So he says, he knows. If you know, then what are you even talking about? Even the street signs are in Uyghur language. The rule in China is, or the rule or law or whatever, that in places where there's an ethnic group predominantly, they need to have the ethnic language of that ethnic group on top of a street sign or whatever. And the Chinese characters are below there. It just shows. And that is why I'm so sick of it, of all these people propagandizing that China is committing cultural genocide and it hates its ethnic minorities. Name me one country other than China that is doing this much for its own ethnic cultures. Name just one.
The language is being lost.
The thing is that it's not lost, it's being lost. If you don't even speak fluent English, we cannot have a conversation, so bye-bye.
He's amazing. Anyway, you can just follow him on Xiaohongshu. You will see it on the screen, right? It's just, I'm just amazed. But this, well, I'm not really amazed, because these kind of conversations is what I have a lot with white Europeans. And I hate to say that this is predominantly the kind of way that the white Europeans are talking with other ethnicities. They are having their assumptions not based on any evidence, and then they want to project it on you, and you need to be the one to confirm their assumptions. But when you don't, it's going to be problematic. It's going to be extremely problematic. Anyway, I just wanted to show this little video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section what you all think of this. Did you know all these kind of things before? Or is it maybe you believed it before and now you see it, you think like, maybe I should look into it a little bit more? Or you say, yeah, we probably been lied to. It's not the first time. It's not the first time, buddy. And for that, you have Mr. Fong to bust all the lies. Anyway, this was your favorite half Chinese. Don't forget to like, please like, and also subscribe. I really need it. Thank you.